Welcome to this week's edition of the Weightlifting Platform, where no one skips leg day. The Weightlifting Platform is brought to you by the Panamerican Weightlifting Federation. I'm your host, Richard Mason. On this week's show, an athlete fighting for his chance on the Olympic platform with just months to go before he knows if he'll get to make the trip. For our tip of the week, we'll talk to a junior-aged athlete about getting started young. And our regular feature, Good to Know, we'll look at the World Anti-Doping Calendar and celebrate fair play. But first, here are the headlines. The lifting is underway in Moscow. The European Weightlifting Championships started Sunday. Full results are available on the IWF website. Early medalists represented Bulgaria, Turkey, Ukraine, Romania, Russia, Italy, Armenia, Albania, Belgium, Moldova, Georgia, Belarus, Germany, France, and Azerbaijan. Competition wraps up on April 11th. Before the first attempt, though, members of the European federations voted on their leaders for the next quad. Hasan Akis of Turkey is the new president, with Serbia's Milan Mihailovic taking over as general secretary. The previous president, Antonio Urso of Italy, has been appointed honorary president. The first vice president is Maxim Agapitov of Russia, with David Kipchidze of Georgia, Tina Biter of Denmark, and Germany's Patrick Fawcett also elected as vice presidents. The International Weightlifting Federation is setting the dates for major events. The Federation has set a date for the reformation of its governance infrastructure. The overhaul will start with an online constitutional conference, June 30th. All member nations will be able to vote on the new constitution. Elections for the new leaders of the IWF will be held after the Tokyo Olympics. And there's been a schedule switcheroo. Saudi Arabia has asked to trade championships with Uzbekistan. Jeddah was supposed to be the host of this May's World Junior Championships. Instead, that will now be held in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. In exchange, Jeddah is now listed as the host of the IWF Youth World Championships in October. That event was originally scheduled for Tashkent. Those are today's headlines. Now, good to know. Did you know that the World Anti-Doping Agency celebrates clean sport every year? This week, on the 9th of April, WADA first introduced Play True Day back in 2014. This year's theme is, what does play true mean to you? The anti-doping group has put together many different ways to get the message across on all social media platforms. And that is good to know. Now time to talk. Joining us now is a fellow Canadian who's facing a challenging next few months. With many spots still up for grabs, athletes like Alex Belmar are making that final push toward lifting at the Olympics in Tokyo, Japan. Welcome. Bienvenue, Alex.
Hi, thank you.
Tell me, how did you first get involved with weightlifting?
Well, at first, my dad was a coach. I remember when I was young, my dad and my sister actually was involved in weightlifting. So I always loved being with my dad and my sister. So I started at first just to be with my dad. And at that time I was playing hockey, and I prefer weightlifting to hockey just because, I don't know, this sport is so great. I mean, like, you gotta work for performances, and if it works, it's only you. And if it doesn't, it's only you too. So that's how I started weightlifting with my dad.
We won't get you thrown out of Canada for saying you don't want to be a hockey player anymore, although that that is a little dicey in this country.
Unpopular
now,
opinion.
I've got to say that there are a lot of boring singlets out there. Now, not yours. I call yours the Captain Canuck. There was a comic book hero long before you were born. But where did you get the idea to have that singlet put together? Where did it come from?
It come from it come from Shapeshifter. At first, I saw it with the USA weightlifter Derek Johnson and Kendrick Jeffers. they were doing, I think they still do something called Bless the Gym, or there was like that kind of trademark,
Yeah.
and both were having like that kind of singlet. And at that time, I wrote an email to the shapeshifter designer and asking for a new suit. And so we worked together to design like kind of I wanted to have something that yes is Canadian and like kind of cartoonish too. I was like at the end of my junior year, so we just did it together, me and the designer of Shapeshifter.
Now I understand it's being retired. Are you going to hang it in
Yeah,
a glass case in your bedroom and maybe at the gym? Where does it go now?
it's in the drawer somewhere. Maybe in the box. In the I don't even know where it is. Like it's with all the medals and trophy. I don't like to hang those. I feel like if I want to keep the focus onward, like I gotta put those in the box and I'll be proud of those like later maybe when I get retired or something. But right now like it's just up to a new singlet and up to new records and competitions.
Good for you. Now, you hold the Canadian records in the 81 kilo category, but your first international meet was back as a 69 in the same session as another Canadian, Nicolas Vachon. Now, you two are both close in body weight and you're close in age. Was that a good thing to have somebody like that to for the two of you to push each other?
Yeah, it was really great. You're talking about my first international meet, but actually my first provincial meet I was with Nicolas Vachon, and I remember like he was really great. He's like 2 years older. Right now it doesn't make that much of a difference when we are senior, but I remember when I did my first provincial meet, I was like maybe 10 and he was 12, so there was this huge gap of age. And I remember at this time like we didn't know each other, but right now like every time we go to competition we hang out together, like for sure like before the competition maybe the day or two before, like it's we're getting focused on our things, but after the competition it's always like a pleasure to be with Nicholas. We push each other. I feel like um the snatch is my better movement, I'd say, and clean and jerk is his best movement. And so like I feel like I might be pulling him like forward at the snatch, and at the same time he's pushing me not to do like a okay clean and jerk. So if I want to have like me like the three gold medal, I gotta push to the clean and jerk and not only look for the total. So I feel like it's always a pleasure to be competing with Nicholas. We are a good friend uh, outside of the platform.
Now, you've been to one Senior Worlds that I saw on the IWF website. You were 14th in Anaheim. You were in a C session, but you outlifted a lot of the athletes from the B. Now, did Senior Worlds feel different than any of the other meets you've been to, universities, juniors, those kinds of thing?
Not really. Actually, like I feel like the biggest thing for senior worlds, it's you I was coming from the junior world, and as you get older and at the junior world you just like going up to B session and you have a better ranking usually year after years. But when you go at the senior world, in the senior world, there could be like a 30 years old and I was like 20 or like 19. I don't remember exactly what age I was, but it's hard to compare yourself to someone that is 10 years old older than you. So I found that was the biggest difference. Like usually at the junior worlds, it's between maybe like 17 and 20. So even though like you have 3 years, it's not that much big of a difference. But at the senior world, there could be a huge gap. So it's kind of hard to just be like, oh, he's older and I'm gonna get there someday. So it's harder. I found it harder on myself.
Now, did you get intimidated at all by some of the names on the scoreboard? I know that if I looked up and I saw Rostami's name in my same weight category, that would get me thinking.
Not at the senior worlds. I remember the first time like I lift in a session where there was like a lot of good lifters. That was at the Pan Am Championship, and I remember like it was really hard to concentrate on what I was doing and to warm up because I was like in front of Harrison Morris and the Colombian and all those guys that I was seeing on like the Ugrip and Alting Gyms video and that I was impressed by, of course. And but at the senior worlds, I feel like you get used to it, kind of. You get used to see people like up front that you were like you that you were impressed by before, and just get part of the game that you gotta get your shit together and compete, even though like it's kind of your idols and people that are really really great at lifting. So
Now, where are you at with the Olympic qualifying? Are you a sure thing? Are you a long shot? Where do you think you're at right now with Tokyo? And is there time to make you a sure thing?
uh, it's not a sure thing for sure. It's like I'm aiming at the Pan Am spot, so there's pressure, but at the same time there's not that much too because it's not really on me. It's like a game of what if this guy doesn't lift in the 81? What if this guy goes to the 96? So my qualification, like I have the Pan Ams in 2 weeks. I'm gonna be there if it happens. Um, and like I want to pull out a good competition, of course, but it's not really. I don't have to do like 340 total, so I'll be sure to go to the Olympics. Even though I do like 320 or 340, it doesn't change that much because like it depends on people that choose a spot or doesn't choose a spot.
Now, you're still young. You're in university now. Is there a post Tokyo plan? Is there a Paris plan? Is there a Los Angeles plan? Or are you just going one workout at a time?
Of course, I'd like to try to go to Paris in 2024, but like for me, it's never been about competition. It's never been about I want to go to the senior worlds and I want to go to the Pan Am Championship or whatever what the competition is. I just I always love to train and to improve. So that's the biggest thing for me. So if I continue to improve through the years, even like after 2024, I don't see a reason to stop doing weightlifting and doing what I love. For me, it's really a pursuit of how good can I be, how heavy can I lift, can I snatch, can I clean and jerk. So I say that I would like to go to the 2024 Olympics, but if I don't know if I can improve on things, maybe I get demotivated and maybe I won't go too. But for sure, it's part of the plan. And if I continue to improve, I don't see why I would stop weightlifting for now.
Thanks, Alex. We appreciate this. Now, don't go anywhere. We're going to do our on the clock segment. Now, all weightlifters are used to a 1-minute clock, but we're going to throw some questions at you that you're probably not necessarily prepared for. Well, not as prepared as you are usually when you get onto a platform. Some of them are weightlifting related, some of them are not. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. If you could only eat one, which would you choose? Poutine or smoked meat sandwich?
Putin.
Least favorite training exercise?
Hang power snatch.
What's the favorite song on your playlist right now?
Satellite by Rise Against.
Last movie that you got an opportunity to go see?
I recently saw 40 Years Old Virgin. Not really a recent one.
There you go. No, not really recent. Steve Carell was great in that. What would be your sport if it's not weightlifting? And I'm going to say not hockey as well.
Tennis. I really love tennis.
Tennis. Favorite city you visited because of sport?
Gold Coast in Australia.
That we had a great time there at the Commonwealth Games in 2018. Thank you very much, Alex, for taking the time to talk with us. Best of luck in Santo Domingo and beyond.
Thank you.
Now it's time for our tip of the week. As with most sports or most anything that you do, weightlifting takes thousands of repetitions to perfect a movement. So, the earlier you start, the better you can be. Venezuela's Catherine Inchendia joins us now with tips for weightlifters starting out as juniors.
Hola, soy Katherine Echandía, atleta de la Selección Nacional de Levantamiento de Pesas de Venezuela. Quiero compartir un consejo con los jóvenes que quieren practicar halterofilia y los que están ejerciendo este deporte. Quiero decirle a todos esos jóvenes que quieren practicar halterofilia que es un deporte muy bueno para la salud, las emociones que se viven son grandes, ya que es un deporte de alegría, euforia, que el camino nunca es fácil, pero siempre que alcanzamos nuestras metas nos da esa satisfacción de alegría y emoción que cumplimos nuestros objetivos. Y a las personas que están practicando este deporte, que nunca se rindan y siempre sigan sus sueños hacia adelante, que no hay obstáculos que nos impida cumplir nuestras metas.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of the Weightlifting Platform, brought to you by the Panamerican Weightlifting Federation. If you like what you see, please bookmark us here on YouTube. You can also like the IWF on Facebook, tweet out to the IWF at IWFnet on Twitter. I'm Richard Mason. Good lifting.